Okay, let's go.
Negaim, Yud base. If a confined garment became mixed up with others, they are all tahor. If a confined garment was partially shredded, it is tahor, and one is permitted to benefit from it. If a confirmed garment became mixed up with others, they are all tameh. If a confirmed garment was partially shredded, it is tameh, and one is prohibited to benefit from it. All houses become tameh from Negaim except those of Gentiles. Houses acquired from a Gentile should be examined initially. A round house, a triangle house, a house built on a ship or on a mast, or on 4 horizontal beams do not become tameh from Negaim. But if it was 4-sided, even if it is 4 vertical pillars, it becomes tameh. A house that one of its sides is covered with marble or with bedrock, bricks, or earth is tahor. A house that did not have stones, wood, or clay, when a negro appeared on it, and when they built it or bored it into stones, wood, and clay is tahor. Similarly, a nega that appeared on a garment that was not 3 finger breadths by 3 finger breadths, and then he wove it to be 3 finger breadths by 3 finger breadths is tahor. A house does not become tameh from Negaim unless it contains stones, wood, and clay. Okay.
Okay. And now we get into the shiurim. Kama avanim yilbo. So if you've got a house that's built out of composite materials, so we saw in the previous Mishna that there's some materials that are just not susceptible. Okay, so if it was built out of marble, or if it was built out of or if it was made out of unbaked sand or whatever, just like a mud hut,
right?
So that would be insusceptible. But if you've got if it's got some stones or some wood in the wall, then it can still be susceptible. Okay, and we want to know how many stones does it have to have in the wall in order to be susceptible to Negaim. So we have a machlokes, Rabbi Shmuel and Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Shmuel omer arba, Rabbi Akiva omer shmoni, 4 or 8. Okay, she'aya Rabbi Shmuel omer. So what's the svara? Now why? Because okay, well, it's not explicitly stated in the Mishnah over here, but he quotes the pasuk. He says the pasuk says "V'ra'ai nega," so that right, he sees the nega, but he neha nega b'kiras habayis. The word nega is mentioned twice, and it's completely redundant. There was no need to mention it twice. So we come to the conclusion that the nega in a house has to be twice the size of a regular nega. Okay. So he says it has to be the size of 2 grisim al shtei avanim or al ibn achas. He says it can be on one stone or on 2 stones, but it's still got to have 4 walls, and therefore they've got to be 4 stones in the 4 walls. Okay. Rabbi Akiva omer ad sheyireh kishnei grisim al shtei avanim. Rabbi Akiva says that the two negaim have got to be on 2 separate stones. Lo al ibn achas. Okay, so that's why he comes to 8, because it's 2 stones in each wall, and times 4. Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Shimon omer ad sheyera ekeshnei grisim al shtei avanim. He agrees with Rabbi Akiva that you need 2 grisim on 2 stones bishnei kasalim bazavis. But he adds a further qualification that the 2 marks have got to be on adjacent stones on adjacent walls, so that they're next to each other around the
right.
Okay. Now, how does he learn this out? Because it's the kiros. It talks about the kiros. It's in the walls, 2 walls. So therefore, he learns out from 2 walls that it has to be these 2 adjacent walls. Or kishnei grisim v'roch b'kagris. Now, this is actually a point of consensus that the total size has got to be 2 grisim, which means we said it's 1 gris in one direction. The width of a yeah. So the width of a kagris we said was like it was 9 lentils, which was which was 2 times 6, so it's 6 hair follicles, basically 6 by 6 hair follicles was how we measured it. So it's got to be so the same size of if you took hair follicles in a person and you moved it onto the stone, you'd have to have 12 in one direction. Okay. And that's a point of consensus. All the Tanaim agree on that. It's just a disagreement about how many stones, whether it has to be on adjacent walls, 2 different stones, etc. That's the point of machlokes. Okay, Mishna Daled. Eitzim. What happens if the house is built not with stones but with composite material, including some wood? How much wood has to be there in order to qualify the house to receive a nega? Kedei litain tachas hamshkof, enough to put a lintel underneath the to put some sort of support underneath
The threshold. This is a threshold.
Yeah. Rabbi Yehuda Omer kedei lasos sandal achorei hashkov, enough to make a sandal, which I guess is a support, a support, you know, to protect the mashkov, to and strengthen it. Okay. Afar, what about plaster? In terms of, because plaster is another one of those things that is that you're able to that can get a nega. Enough to put between the supports. What's the translation? What's your translation for patzim?
It says clay enough to put between the cracks. Between
the cracks. Okay, enough clay to put between the cracks, and that's already susceptible now to an nega. Kiros avos, the kiros hamachitza. So the walls of an avos is normally a trough, right? How's it? An animal?
Yes, it's walls of a feeding trough. And partition walls do not become tummy from the Negaim.
This is not. It's not a human house. We don't count it. Yerushalayim v'chutz la'aretz einan mitamim b'Negaim. Okay. Now, for exactly the same reason, by the way, why do you not have Negaim in chutz la'aretz? Is because the pasuk says ki tavo el haaretz, when you come to the land. So it's only land it's land that can be a nachala to you. Okay, chutz la'aretz is not in the picture, so there's no Negaim in chutz la'aretz. Yerushalayim is not a Yerusha to any shevet. It's shared territory. Right, so it's not a nachala for anyone, and therefore there are no Negaim in Yerushalayim either. So now Mishna Hey really describes the process that we see explicitly written in the Torah. He comes to the Kohen and says, "It looks like a nega in my house." Even if he's a Talmid Chacham, and he knows for sure this is a nega. He doesn't say there is a nega in my house. That's presumptuous. He doesn't have the right to do that. Only the Kohen has the right to declare that this is a nega. Okay. It looks like a nega to me. But so the Kohen gives an order, and they must go and clear out the house before he comes. Okay, so the Mishnah quotes the rest of the pasuk in parentheses. But the important part that we're looking at is that they have to evacuate the house. Even bundles of sticks, even bundles of straw. Right, now those are things that are not normally susceptible to tumah. So why are you taking them out if they can't become tameh? Okay, Rabbi Yehuda says, because Rabbi Yehuda says that there is basically this is a unique situation in the Torah, that just like the house, which is mechuber lekarka, the house itself becomes tameh, so too all things inside the house that normally cannot become tameh also become tameh. So that's Rabbi Yehuda's view. Rabbi Shimon Omer Eiseku lepinoi. He says, no, it's not because they'll actually become tameh. It's because there's a specific mitzvah to take things out the house. Just that he should be involved in taking things out of the house, and it's not because they'll actually become tameh. They're not going to become tameh. Rabbi Meir comes and makes an observation over here. Amar Rabbi Meir, v'chi ma mitameh lo. What are the things that we're concerned about that are going to become tameh? If we're talking about metal things or glass things or fancy kalim, okay, so no, they'll become tameh. You'll take them to the mikveh and they'll be ready to use again that evening. It's not tumas meis. It's just an evening tumah that it's going to get. So what's the problem? So why are they telling him to take everything out? Why does the Torah say you have to take everything out? Im tomar klei eitzav or begadav or matchosav matbiran ve'entorim. Just take him to the mikveh and all done. Al ma chasa haTorah. So what's the Torah having pity on? Al klei charso, on the rubbish little bits of earthenware. Okay, al paco, on his little flask, al tifio, different small little tachkas that are like really worthless almost. In kach chasa haTorah al mamono habazoi, because those things, if they become tamei, there's no fixing them; they have to be broken. Okay, so now the Torah is having pity, having compassion on the guy for the fact that he's going to lose out on these little worthless things. Kal v'chomer al mamono hachaviv, that the Torah will have mercy on his more precious possessions. Im kach al mamono, if they're having pity on, if the Torah is having pity on his possessions, kal v'chomer al nefesh banavu v'nosav, that has mercy on his children. V'im kach al shel rasha, this guy who's got a nega on his house, he's the guy who's been sitting around talking lashon hara, and the Torah is having compassion on him. Kal v'chomer al shel tzaddik. So for sure, the Torah has rachmanas on the tzaddik. Interesting little historical footnote. I don't know the source of this, but it's brought that the Tzaras Habatim is like the Ben Sorer or Mora and the Ir Hanidachas, that they never happened. So we're just getting this car by learning about it. Okay. All
right.
Good, Aleph.
Good, Aleph. This succum can become confined tummy for 2 weeks and a confirmed tummy with 2 symptoms: with deficient blonde hair or with expansion. Deficient blood hair means damage by being short. These are the words of Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Yochanan ben Nori says even long. Said Rabbi Yochanan ben Nori, what do people mean when they say this stick is dak, or this reed is dak? Don't they mean it is very thin? Regarding whether it is short or long, Rabbi Akiva said to him, before we learn from a reed, we should learn from hair. When people say so-and-so's hair is dak, they use dak and means very short, not long, and very thin. Deficient blonde hair renders the nesek tummy, whether together or scattered, whether rounded or not surrounded, changed by the nega or not changed. These are the words of Rabbi Yehuda, and Rabbi Shimon says it only renders tummy if changed by the nega. Said Rabbi Shimon, it is a logical argument if white hair, whose tummy is not curtailed by other hair, renders a nega tummy only. If it was changed by the pre-existing nega, it should not deficient blonde hair, which is curtailed by other hair, render tummy only when changed. Rabbi Yehuda says wherever the Torah needs to say change, it means change. However, a nesek about which it says it had no blonde hair within it renders the nesek tummy whether changed or not. New growth, saved from the blonde hair and from expansion, whether together or scattered, surrounded or not surrounded. Remaining hair saves from blonde hair and from expansion, whether together or scattered, but only surrounded. When it is on the side, it does not save unless it is 2 hair spaces distant from where the hair grows normally. 1 blonde hair and 1 black hair, or 1 blonde hair and 1 white hair does not save. Okay. Right.
Ohalos.
And we have test flow. Test flow.
Yeah.
In the case of wooden tablets, a handbreadth above the ground that touch one another at the corners, and there is tumah underneath one tablet, someone who touches the other tablet becomes tummy for 7 days. Utensils underneath the first tablet become tummy, whereas those under the second remain tahor. A tabletop does not spread tumah unless it extends beyond its base by a handbreadth. In the case of barrels that are outdoors, standing upright or lying on the sides, which touch one another by a square handbreadth, if there is tumah underneath one barrel, tumah penetrates directly up and directly down. In what case this is applied? When the barrels are tahor. However, if they are tummy or a handbreadth above the ground and there is tumah underneath one of them, the area beneath all of them becomes tummy. In the case of a house divided by boards or the curtains for the sides or from doors, if there is tumah inside the house, utensils inside the partition section become tahor, and if there is tumah inside the partition section, utensils inside the house become tummy. When there are utensils inside the partition section, if there is a cubed handbreadth, they become tummy, and if not, they remain tahor. Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, Yud Beis Daled. A blacksmith bar is tummy, and the pin of the sundial is tahor, but Reb Tzadok's rules are tummy. A weaver's rod is tummy, and regarding the chest of bean grinders, Reb Tzadok rules are tummy, but this is Sage's rule of tahor. If its wagon was made of metal, it is tummy. A nail that one prepared in order to unlock and lock with is tummy, and one that is made for surveillance is tahor. A nail that one prepared in order to open a barrel with it, the Akiva rules are tummy, and the Kakamin rule of tahor until one hardens it. The bar of a moneymaker is tahor, but the Reb Tzadok's rules are tummy. There are 3 things that are exotic rules tummy, and the sages rule tahor. the bar of a money chamber, and the chest of bean grinders, and the pin of a sundial. Reb Tzadok rules them Tameh, and the sages rule them Tahor. There are four things that Rabbi Gamil rules Tameh, and the sages rule Tahor: the metal cover of a teni belonging to a householders, and the hanger of strigels, and unfinished metal utensils, and his tray of split was two, and a plate that was split into two. But the Kohen agreed with Rabbi Gamil in the case of a tray that split into two pieces, one large and the other one small. The larger one is Tameh, and the small one is Tahor. Okay. And we are on to Avos Gimel. And the Heha says the reward is commensurate with extortion. I didn't read that right. And then it says the reward is commensurate with the exertion.
Exertion, yes.
The sages taught the following chapter in the language of the Mishna: blessed is he who chooses them in their teachings. But Meir says, whoever engages in the study of Torah for his own sake merits many things. Moreover, the whole entire world is worthwhile for his sake. He is called friend, beloved, and he loves the omnipresent. He loves his creatures. He gladdens the omnipresent. He gladdens his creatures. The Torah clothes him with humility and fear of God and makes him fit to be a righteous, devout, fair, and trustworthy person. Distances him from sin and draws him near to merit. And they enjoy from him counsel and wisdom, understanding and strength. As it is said, with me there is counsel and wisdom, and understanding with me is strength, and it gives him kingship and dominion and analytical judgment. They reveal to him secrets of the Torah, and he becomes like a steadily strengthening wellspring, and like a river that does not cease. He'll be discreet. But Yeshua ben Levi says, this the page, I think, yeah. Yes, I'm sorry. Like a river that does not cease, will be discreet, patient, forgiving of insult to himself, and it makes him great and exalts him above all things. But Yeshua ben Levi says, on each and every day of a base called emanates from Mount Korav, and it proclaims and says, woe to them, to people, because of the disgrace of the Torah. For anyone who is not engaged in Torah study is called banned, as it is stated, like a golden ring in the snout of a pig. So it is a beautiful woman whose good sense is departed. And it says the tablets were God's handiwork, and the script of God engraved upon the tablets. Do not read the word of Karas engraved, but as Karas, freedom. This teaches that there is no free person except one who engages in Torah study, and anyone who engages in Torah study is elevated, as it is stated, from Matana to Nachal, and from Nachil to Bamamos.
Hey, that's it. So what's
Suros? Okay, Tess. If a woman was pregnant, they said to her, what is the nature of this fetus? And she replied, he was fathered by a so-and-so, and he is a Kohen. Rabbi Gamil and Rabbi Eliezer said she is believed. Rabbi Shua said, however, she is not believed. Rather, it is presumed that she is pregnant from an Essenite or a mamzer until she proves her claim. Said Rabbi Yossi, there was an incident concerning a young girl who went down to draw water from a spring and was violated. Said Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri, if most men of the city may marry her off, their daughters to Kohanim, this one may marry a Kohen. A woman who is widowed or divorced and says, you have married me as a virgin, and he says, not so, but I married you as a widow. If there are witnesses that you went out with a veil and with her hair untied, without a veil and without her hair untied, the ketubah is 200 zuz. If Yochanan ben Broka says the distribution of parched grain is also proof. And Thumos. Okay. Dollar. Okay. Rabbi Yeshua says black figs and no white ones and no black ones, log fig cakes and all small ones, and small ones and no large ones, brown ones and all rectangular ones, and rectangular ones and all round ones. Eliezer forbids, but Rabbi Akiva says if it is known what fell in, but does not annul the other, but if it is not known what fell in, then one annul the other. In which case, if there were 50 black figs and 50 white ones, if a black one fell in, the black ones are forbidden and the white ones are permitted. If a white one fell in, the white ones are forbidden and the black ones are permitted. If it is not known which fell in, one annuls the other, and in this, Reb Eliezer is stringent and Reb Yeshua lenient. But in this, Reb Eliezer is lenient and Reb Yeshua is stringent. If one presses a liter of dried figs into the mouth of a jar, and it is not known into which, Reb Eliezer says they are regarded as if they were separated, and those below and all those above. Reb Yeshua says they do not allow unless there are 100 jars. Okay.
And that's it.
I will see you what's today. Today is Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Tuesday. Back to regular schedule. Sameach, enjoy you be home. The kids and everybody.
Yeah, I mean,
we're around Shiloh. Bye-bye.